Tonight, more expensive than ever as the price of gas ticks up across the country.
That's insane.
How is this still happening?
Drivers shelled out almost $1.70 a liter in downtown Vancouver this weekend, and it could get worse.
Albertans get ready to choose their future.
I firmly believe we need to get that oil moving.
I'm worried as to how we're going to get investors back. There's just one day of campaigning left before Alberta votes in one of the most contentious elections in the province's history. The National is in battleground Calgary.
But here it is. The return to glory.
And Tiger Woods roars to victory at Augusta, donning that green jacket for the first time in 14 years. Consider the comeback story complete. This is The National. If you drive, you know it's been getting more expensive lately. In the last 5 weeks, the average price in Canada for a liter of gas jumped by 14 cents. A big part of that came on April 1st when the federal government imposed a carbon tax in 4 provinces. That added about 4.5 cents to each liter. But it is in Vancouver that prices have shattered a record for North American cities, reaching just shy of $1.70 per liter. Now, we wanted to know why it's climbed so much, so we asked Briar Stewart to look into it, and as you'll hear, there's a chance prices could go even higher.
It seems like every time you drive by and glance at one of the signs, those numbers just keep getting bigger.
It's just continually going up. It's hard to know when to buy, and yeah, frustration.
Metro Vancouver is setting records, and it's frustrating for drivers.
I think we're getting taxed, out of existence.
And taxes are a big reason why the price at the pump is now so high. They add more than 52 cents to the cost of every liter. That includes 17 cents for transit and 8.89 cents for the carbon tax. But those fees don't tell the whole story. BC imports its fuel, so part of the price surge boils down to supply.
It is dependent on external sources, including the United States, which is going through neighboring Washington state, several planned refinery maintenance issues, and of course an oversubscribed Trans Mountain pipeline.
A gas price analyst says those U.S. refineries and the Trans Mountain pipeline bring in upwards of 70% of the fuel for the Vancouver market. BC's lower mainland is growing, so is the number of drivers, but the supply of gasoline isn't. And it could get worse.
They were paying $1.70 almost on gas in Vancouver this week. I'll tell you, that's just an appetizer.
On the campaign trail, Jason Kenney, the leader of Alberta's United Conservative Party, has warned of consequences if BC doesn't get on board with the Trans Mountain expansion. He's vowed that one of the first things he'll do if elected premier is to proclaim the so-called turn off the taps legislation. It was drafted under Rachel Notley's NDP government, but never proclaimed into law.
We are prepared. If they will not respect the rule of law and allow us to export our products, there will be consequences.
Now, Andrew, that legislation that Kenny is referring to, Bill 12, it would let the province limit the amount of oil and refined fuel that's shipped out of Alberta.
And how is that threat going over where you are in BC, Briar?
Well, there's no doubt that that legislation is very contentious, and BC's Attorney General David Eby has called it unconstitutional, saying that energy transportation comes under federal jurisdiction, not provincial. And he has vowed that if that legislation is enacted and comes into effect, that the province will be launching a legal challenge. So plenty to watch for.
Okay, Briar Stewart in Vancouver tonight. So, Rosie, needless to say, lots of folks in BC watching the Alberta election very closely, as are you.
That's right, Andrew. The National will be in Alberta as the clock ticks down the provincial election. Polls open in less than 48 hours now. And I am coming to you tonight from Calgary. Here, politics is being fought riding by riding, street by street, and candidates are really wrestling for control of the story before voters have the final say.
If you want to continue to benefit from our hard work and our resources, you have to let us develop those resources.
Jason Kenney wants the focus to be on Alberta's economic pain, made worse, he says, by anti-Alberta forces outside the province, aided and abetted by Rachel Notley's NDP.
The NDP in this province was always against our energy industry.
We've
done everything to lay out the case to Albertans that we can.
Notley has been trying to capitalize on a string of scandals for the United Conservative Party.
There were incidents that occurred that we would not have talked about them if they weren't there.
An effort to paint a Kenney government as unethical, intolerant, or risky, as per this full-page ad in the Calgary Herald yesterday. Taken together, this campaign has been nasty, fueled by innuendo and outrage, but so far that isn't turning voters away. Advance voting ended yesterday. It was easier than ever, and compared to 2015, the number of voters who cast their ballots nearly tripled. I can tell you that here right now, there's a sense of stakes for this election. The economic slump, the bitter debates around pipelines and even social issues, all that snap people's attention to politics. But as Rafi Pujakanyan tells us, that means facing a lot of hype and half-truths pushed by parties and outside groups.
When it becomes slandering on other parties coming from what they say is a credible source.
These young voters say they're pretty savvy when it comes to separating fact from fiction on social media, but they can still be surprised by claims in this campaign.
Why do we have a man like Jason Kenney telling us women what our healthcare needs are?
Take this video advertising a website paid for by the NDP.
Really? That's quite unfortunate because even if I don't like Jason Kenney, the way that they're portraying this and how sensationalized and look at the red and the black.
It's not just political parties battling it out on social media. Third-party political action committees are also slagging political opponents, playing fast and loose with facts. Alberta placed limits on how much money these groups can spend in the election period, but none on how much they can raise. These groups have been at work elsewhere in Canada. Ontario Proud raising hundreds of thousands of dollars last year, supporting Doug Ford and attacking his rivals.
We do know social media play a role, influence how people think about politics. We don't know to what extent it's actually going to influence how they're going to vote.
CBC News reached out to several PACs involved in the Alberta campaign. Only one, Alberta Fights Back, agreed to an interview. It advocates for separation from Canada, using posts like this one, linking to a CBC documentary about ISIS and falsely saying the broadcaster wants war criminals to return to Canada.
I'm not the only one who holds that sentiment in Alberta or even in Canada. A lot of people are concerned and saying, why are the major broadcasters doing this?
The very fast evolution of social media.
The NDP insists it does not engage in fake news.
We want to have a fact-based conversation in this election. We don't want this to turn into Trump 2.0.
But the party released a video it calls a documentary attacking the United Conservative Party's Jason Kenney for comments decades ago about his role as a student activist fighting gay rights. The video didn't mention he stated regretting those views years later.
This is the course of the campaign from day to day. You can see it going through.
This political scientist says citizens have to bring a critical eye to content they find online.
The idea that we can force politicians, political strategists, volunteers to tell the truth during election campaigns not only flies in the face of centuries worth of politicking throughout the world, but it's also not really putting the onus where it needs to be.
Jason Kenney and the United Conservative Party say if they form government here, they'll create a war room dedicated in part to fighting what they call fake news about the energy industry. Rafi Pujakanyan, CBC News, Edmonton.
Political messaging is one thing, but what are the people here actually looking for? We took our voters' chair to Alberta to find out, and I'll be back with that later.
We want to turn now to a developing story in the U.S. tonight. More than 100 million Americans are bracing themselves for severe storms all along the East Coast. Nearly 6,000 flights were canceled or delayed today on the heels of some vicious weather in the south. And at least 17 tornadoes tore through several states this weekend. 8 people were killed, many more injured. And as Paul Hunter tells us, the reality is setting in of just how much damage has been done.
Check it out right here, man.
It's right here. It's right here.
The storm system is both fierce and massive, targeting a giant swath of the U.S. south and east.
That's a tornado. That's it. Yep.
Multiple twisters, most of them overnight, leaving today a string of communities effectively flattened. This is the small city of Troy, Alabama, southeast of Birmingham. And consider these images, shot by a weather channel in Mississippi. When it hit last night, say those who were there, it was unreal.
When the first tornado came through, I was in my room asleep, and I heard the shaking and the loud wind. It sounded like a train without the whistle. I just got to my knees and prayed that everything would be okay.
When it was pulling the washer and dryer and stuff, I didn't have nothing to try to grab because the walls was gone. And by that time, I was on the ground, and everything. Once I hit the ground, everything started piling up on top of me.
Throughout the region today was for assessing the damage and beginning the cleanup. But indeed, the storm was also a killer. Among its victims, 2 young brothers, 3 and 8 years old, and a 95-year-old man, all killed by fallen trees. Inside this house, a woman was pinned by one. She survived.
Tree landed in the living room, pushed some furniture up against her, pinned her against the wall, and then she was there until we pulled her out.
Now, as it all presses onward, with many millions further east awaiting the storm, its ferocity is clear.
Over there is part of my garage. My front porch, the awning out over that house to the front porch, is in my neighbor's yard.
Was she frightened as it all played out, huddling in the hallway with her grandkids? She said there wasn't even time for that. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Back in Canada, an Ontario First Nation is in a state of emergency tonight. They knew rising waters would once again force them to flee, but what they didn't know was that this year the danger would come so fast. 2,500 people live in Saskatchewan on the shore of James Bay, and they are scrambling to empty out the place. What really stings, though, is what they see as a promise from the federal government that's been very slow to materialize. Olivia Stefanovic shows us what hangs in the balance.
From the air, the danger facing Saskatchewan is clear. A menacing wall of ice breaking up as far as the eye can see, threatening the small Cree community each spring.
It's really frustrating for a lot of people.
Chief Leo Friday says this year's heavy snowfall makes the possibility of flooding especially worrisome. Another concern, the reserves dike is on the verge of breaking. An engineer's report calls the risk intolerable, forcing Chief and Council to declare a state of emergency yet again. More than 2,000 people are preparing to fly out this week. It will cost taxpayers roughly $20 million.
I have no way of making sense of a nation as rich as Canada that would leave a community like Saskatchewan in such a precarious situation year in, year out.
Carl Bennett.
In 2017, the community signed an agreement with the federal provincial governments to find a permanent solution. But 2 years later, little progress.
Our commitment to a long-term relocation has not changed. That has not changed. What we're doing right now is we're working with the community on just the technical aspects of the move.
Meanwhile, talks are ongoing. The permanent move will cost $500 million to $1 billion. Land has been identified 30 kilometers away, but it hasn't been secured yet. Until that happens, people like Brandon Goche will continue to brace for the worst.
I don't think it should be like that. I'm hoping one day that it's going to be like just a regular annual breakup upriver, just to stay home and relax, not worry about evacuating.
Indigenous Services Canada says it could take another 8 to 10 years to make the big move. The people of Saskatchewan will continue to fly south every year, not knowing whether they will have homes to return to. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
The chief has publicly invited Justin Trudeau to visit their community, as well as Seamus O'Regan, the Minister of Indigenous Services. Chief Friday wants them to see for themselves the challenges on the ground. Okay, now a look at some developing stories we are watching tonight on The National, starting with a deadly shooting at a church in the BC interior. 2 men were shot, 1 died at the scene, a church elder who was also a grandfather. His son calls it a targeted attack by someone known to the family. As for the other victim, that person was airlifted to hospital. And Mounties say they do have a suspect in custody. Hundreds came out for a pair of Montreal area protests today against Quebec's secularism legislation. Bill 21 aims to ban public employees like teachers and police officers from wearing religious symbols on the job. Tomorrow, Montreal City Council will vote on a declaration opposing the bill.
I am running for President of the United States.
Yeah, that's Pete Buttigieg making it official. He's the latest Democrat throwing his hat into the ring for the 2020 presidential nomination. And you see there he's being cheered on by a hometown crowd in South Bend, Indiana. His husband joined him on stage. He's hoping to become the first openly gay president of the United States. Known as Mayor Pete, he's a 37-year-old war veteran, devout Christian, and Rhodes Scholar. Well, a Toronto woman is speaking out after she and her young family were sprayed with insecticide on a plane. Now, when airlines do that, they're just following regulations, but passengers rarely know it's coming. Here's Rosa Marcatelli with a Go Public investigation into pesticides on planes.
That is pesticide being sprayed all over the cabin. Renia Kanizer couldn't believe it was happening on her flight just before it landed in Jamaica.
Suddenly there was an announcement on the intercom saying that they'll be walking down the aisle spraying a non-toxic insecticide. I thought, insecticide doesn't sound non-toxic.
There is no such thing as a non-toxic pesticide.
That's Chris Van Netten, who studies the effects of pesticides on planes. He says passengers need to know ahead of time, especially the young, old, and those with respiratory issues. Like Kanizer's husband and her toddler, both are asthmatic.
My asthma triggered probably within minutes.
The World Health Organization okayed the pesticides for use in passenger cabins decades ago. Airlines have to do it before passengers board or during the flight. Dozens of countries require spraying to stop insects from spreading disease. What's not required is telling passengers before they fly.
You're not given that choice.
Transport Canada says it's out of its hands, but in an advisory, it admits the spray is a foreseeable hazard, saying passengers need to know so they can get advice from their own physician on whether they should travel to those destinations. It sets guidelines, not rules, saying airlines should notify passengers before they purchase their tickets, on the flight ticket itself, and before boarding the aircraft.
People have a right to know what they are going to be exposed to.
The airlines that fly to these places say the notification is on their websites. Air Canada also requires travelers who book directly on its website to click a box, agreeing to the airline's general conditions, which has a section on the spray. It also provides a link to the health information section in the itinerary. But these notices do not include flights booked on third-party travel websites like the one Kanizer used. The union representing flight attendants has its own concerns.
We get reports of sore throat, sore eyes, lots of skin conditions. I'm concerned about potential long-term neurological effects.
All the airlines say they provide training and safety equipment to staff. There are non-spray methods being developed, like a mechanical air curtain that blows everything out, but they're still in the testing stages. So for now, travelers are left with few options. They can take precautions like wear a mask during the spraying or wipe down the surfaces, or just choose not to travel to the countries that require it. There's a full list on the Transport Canada website. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Still to come on tonight's National, a very unusual result. Team Canada wins bronze at the Women's World Hockey Championship. We'll explain why that could actually be a big win for the game itself.
And as Albertans get ready for Tuesday's election, some voters here have a message for Ottawa.
They don't know we exist. The world ends in Winnipeg. They don't give a damn about Western Canada.
Still ahead, what this election means to Albertans, and a visit to one of the most conservative ridings in Canada. That's coming up.
So what kinds of stuff did you find here on the beach today?
I found like garbage bags, like a bunch of plastic wrappers, water bottles, tissue paper.
So today we have students from local schools. Right now on the beach is Ron Colley, he's grade 5, and it's World Oceans Day here at Middle Cove Beach. So the grade 5s are really wonderful to work with because they love to get in and do the activities, but they also make the connection between the activity and the ocean and the science of it. So on the beach here today, we have the Ocean Science Center. The dive team are down here getting live creatures and sort of bringing them up in front of the kids to see. And we have a team from DFO also here doing activity on marine debris because oceans plastics is sort of the theme of this World Oceans Day.
How does it make you feel when you find garbage on a beautiful beach like this?
Sad because, like, knowing that it affects fish because I swallow the plastic.
It's important because if we don't do this, a lot of the garbage, fish could eat it and then it could get caught in the organs and they can't eat, they can't breathe.
Surprised you just how much plastic you found in a place like this?
Yeah. It looks really clean, but then when you look around, you find a bunch of, like, trash around and then you're like, wow.
What have you guys been teaching the kids about the oceans in classroom before you got to this day?
Lots of discussions about awareness of the marine life and respect for them and the importance of keeping our oceans clean and caring for them like we do every other part of our world. It's amazing actually, right from when they start school, even sooner, they're aware of how important that is. So there are future generations, so teach them now, put it into practice, and that's what we're here to do today.
Does it make you think differently about the kinds of things that you buy and shop for in your everyday life?
Yeah, you could like buy reusable stuff. Like reusable bags, reusable water bottles, like all that. And less plastic stuff. I don't think that takeout places should use styrofoam because you really don't need it when you could just be using other stuff to put it in. When you eat like takeout and stuff, you don't have to have the plastic stuff on top.
We should make more reusable things and people should buy water bottles instead of the plastic ones. They should buy metal ones or the reusable plastic ones.
And they could do more things like this to teach kids how they can do ways to prevent that. Because really it's for our fault and it's affecting us a lot.
Back pass to Johnson, scores!
A bittersweet day for Canada's women's hockey team. They did win medals at the World Championship in Finland today, just not the color they were going for. Canada pounded Russia to take the bronze after 7 unanswered goals, which is nothing to sneeze at. But this is also the first time Canada didn't make the finals. The Americans did.
Tapani tried that move in an overtime shootout.
They beat Finland 2-1 for the gold. It was a long, grueling game, and again, a unique one, because in every single World Championship to date, it's been Canada against the U.S. And that fact has even some Canadians wondering if there may be a silver lining to this year's result. Natalie Nanowski explains.
Everybody always focuses on Canada-US, and they always just assume it's going to be Canada-US in a final, but this time it wasn't the case.
While professional hockey player Carly Campbell concedes that missing the World Championship final is a hard pill to swallow, being knocked out by Finland could actually inspire young girls around the world.
Women's hockey is about hope. And now they finally have hope that they can compete at the highest level in international hockey. And it's like that for other countries as well. So they're going to start investing in their young girls because good things are happening.
Campbell played for the Toronto Furies in the CWHL, which before it collapsed was considered prime training ground. Countries sent their top players to learn from Canada's women and hone their skills, including Finland's goalie Nora Ratu, who showed off her talent today, blocking shot after shot against the U.S.
It was inspiring watching the Finns play hockey, and you had to cheer for them. It did so much in their home country. I think that the other countries are really believing they can be there.
Women's hockey does have support in other countries. Sweden has an elite league founded in 2008. It has 10 teams. Even tiny Luxembourg just launched a women's hockey team. And China has been building dozens of new rinks just to keep up with the sport's demand. It's estimated that 200,000 women now play hockey around the world, and that number is growing. Despite the disappointment over Canada not winning silver or gold and the collapse of the CWHL, there's proof that women's hockey around the world has a bright future. Natalie Nanowski, CBC News, Toronto.
And still ahead on the National, Tiger Woods did something today which many thought impossible. Just ahead, a comeback for the ages. But next, we'll head back to Rosie, who is in Calgary tonight, and we'll hear what's on the minds of Alberta voters.
What's at stake for me in this election?
What's at stake for me in this election? A job.
Everything.
As a non-binary queer person, a lot.
Tonight, meet two men who covered war with a crayon. Historians with a difference. Two men who traced the personally experienced events of two wars in their dog-eared sketchbooks. Perhaps the world's best-known war cartoonists, Bruce Bairnsfather and Bill Mauldin. It's 40 years since Bairnsfather's war ended, 13 years since Mauldin's came to its double finish. Yesterday was the day allowed for the act of recollection. And weekend editor Gregory Clark had a few thoughts about remembrance.
How little war really means to us is best demonstrated in the fact that we set aside 1 minute of silence out of the 5,256,000 minutes of the year as a mark of respect and mourning for the 58,000 Canadians killed in action in the First War and the 39,000 in the Second War. We declare a whole day for remembrance, but we gravely suggest 1 minute for silence, and hardly anybody remembers. Thus likely is war brushed off by all save the true mourners, and even some of them forget. For reasons of convenience, many of the formal observations of November 11 were held on Saturday and Sunday, November 8th and 9th. A woman of my acquaintance lost her husband in the First War and her son in the Second. She was invited to attend ceremonies on each of the 3 dates, one by her husband's regiment, one by her church, and one by her son's school principal. I offered to be her escort on each or any of the occasions. As a matter of fact, she said, declining, every day is Remembrance Day with me, every day, every night, all the years through. War, you see, except for the brief time it rages, is not a public matter at all. In the long view, it's almost entirely a private matter.
And so it was for Bill Mauldin and Bruce Bairnsfather. By accident, their private view of war became familiar to millions, but remained no less private. Bruce Bairnsfather was a man of elastic temperament. No amount of fatigue, hardship, peril, or pain could quench his vital spirit or reduce his exuberant sense of humor. Before 1914, he'd been many things, now a regular soldier, now an engineer. He had no thought of sketching except for mischief on walls, shirt cuffs, or tablecloths. Without the war, he might never have put pencil to paper for publication, but the war insisted. Charles Templeton met him for close-up.
This is your most famous drawing, the famous, the better old, isn't it, Captain Bruce?
I suppose it is. Everybody seemed to take to this one more than any other.
How did it come to be drawn?
Well,
did you see some incident like this?
Yes, I happened to be in a battle and was trying to get out of it, to be perfectly candid, and I was running about this field, and as I did so, I saw a whole crowd of fellows stuck in a shell hole together, not only two, but several of them, and it all struck me as very pathetic to see anybody in such a predicament. Nobody knew whether the war was over there or over here, and I thought this thing over for some time and nursed the idea in my mind.
These are critical battlegrounds in Alberta's election. Edmonton right now is an NDP stronghold, but its hold may be slipping. The United Conservative Party sees real opportunity here in Calgary. Half of Alberta's voters are found in these two cities. And 2 days from the election, there's a flurry of campaign activity here. Throw in the suburbs and smaller centres like Lethbridge and Banff, and about 4 out of every 5 Albertans live in cities. For all the stereotypes about the province's cowboy character, rural Albertans actually struggle to have a voice. So Aaron Collins went to hear what some voters had to say beyond the city.
Times pretty much stood still in Rowley, Alberta, a place where change is resisted more than embraced. Last really big change here was when the train stopped rolling through in the 90s, the final nail in a once bustling economy.
This part of Alberta, is this maybe one of the most conservative spots in Canada, do you think?
I would think it's pretty darn close to it.
Well, just 8 people call Rowley home these days, a place so small most locals have keys to the pub and are likely to lean a fair bit to the right politically. 80% of this riding voted for a Conservative candidate in the last provincial election.
What does it mean to be Conservative?
All we want is for people to leave us the hell alone. Let us do our own thing out here.
You think that's the way most Canadians feel?
I think it is. And it just, Conservatives do not want people butting into their business.
Well, public enemy number 1 these days, carbon taxes, and the government's behind them.
My personal opinion, I think it's a farce. I don't think that anthropogenic climate change means anything other than a tax grab.
But politics isn't fueled by beer around here. In a riding as big as Belgium, there's just too much driving for that. So in places like Veteran, population 207, it's coffee that stirs the pot of political debate.
We know where we live in this part of the world, it's agriculture, oil and gas, small towns, communities.
And we're in an area where ag and oil and gas work together. We are not separate industries.
The United Conservative Party candidate is the front-runner here, and he has a simple pitch. Scrap the carbon tax, build more pipelines, and cut red tape.
This is where we draw the line in the sand, and we have a fight for a fair deal within Canada.
It's what most people in this riding want to hear, drowning out the racist and homophobic ideas connected to some UCP candidates.
I just want to be here and do my thing. I don't see skin color, I don't see sexual orientation, I don't care. I don't care about that stuff.
An hour and a half south and east in Sedalia, another Conservative contender is campaigning over coffee at the general store. Rick Strankman is the incumbent here, the latest in a long line of Conservative MLAs. But Strankman believes Conservative ideas work across Canada.
Through these lenses and my lens, yes, absolutely, for where I've traveled, I see many people who want to have less government involvement, less taxation, and better effective use of those taxpayer dollars. So I think everybody just wants to cohabitate, if you will, without frustration of government.
At an all-candidates forum in nearby Consort, signs of that frustration with Ottawa are easy to see and hear.
They don't know we exist. The world ends in Winnipeg. They don't give a damn about Western Canada at all.
It's a Conservative crowd, to say the least. None of the candidates here support a carbon tax. All want more pipelines. If they don't get them, some are open to Alberta separation. The local NDP candidate is a no-show.
It was all right of centre. There was no centre tonight. And anything left of centre didn't show up because there would be no place for them, really.
That says a lot, I think.
Absolutely. They knew they wouldn't have a friendly audience.
Back in Rowley, change still comes pretty slowly, for the most part.
Election in Alberta right around the corner, election in Canada pretty close. Is change coming?
Hopefully. Alberta for sure, not so sure about Ottawa, but we'll keep our hope.
A hope that political change in Edmonton and Ottawa will mean less government in these parts. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Rowley, Alberta.
So every once in a while, the National puts out a chair and invites real people to just sit down and answer a tough question about an issue of the moment. Well, Nick Purdon took our new voters' chair to Alberta. You'll be seeing plenty of it in the lead up to the federal vote in October. And tonight's question, what's at stake for me in this election?
read the question out loud.
You ready?
Hey. Okay, can I read it?
Anytime.
What's at stake for me in this election?
What's at stake for me in the election?
What's at stake for me in this election?
What's at stake for me in this election? A job.
Everything. As a non-binary queer person, a lot.
As a small business owner, I'm pretty interested in this election, so it's definitely going to affect the outcome of my business, where it goes over the next 5 years, and the decisions I have to make.
My children, I'm wondering about their future in the oil patch, so that's at stake for me in this election.
I firmly believe we need to get that oil moving. We need the pipelines done. And that's my number one priority is, well, basically the economy. We need jobs. And we need to turn this ship around because we're going in the wrong direction.
I want Alberta to be able to get back to work. However, I don't want it to be at the expense of things like education, supporting the arts, supporting nonprofits, supporting culture and community.
I'm worried. I'm worried as to how we're going to get investors back or how we're going to diversify.
The oil and gas industries in Alberta are finished. If we have another government like the last one we've had for 4 years.
My taxes have gone up. Our debt is out of control. And for my kids, they're going to be struggling. And that's not the future I want for them.
I feel like we're falling behind, like I'm in kindergarten and not gonna pass.
I hope Alberta can remain at least as prosperous as it has been in the past.
There's more division, hatred, and bigotry in this election than I've seen in any provincial election in my life. It's making Alberta a more dangerous place for people to live.
This is an important election for me. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's about a 9.5. You know, I don't think it gets any more important than this. I think this election is something that everybody's looking forward to.
Good job. Good. We'll have more special coverage right here from Calgary tomorrow.
My hope for the future of Alberta is that we really come together and we all work together as an inclusive society that everybody can feel safe and valued in.
My hope for the future of Alberta is it is economically diverse, socially diverse, and remains one of the best places to live in Canada.
My hope for the future is that the next government of Alberta restores global investor confidence in the province, and at the same time, I want the government to respect the rights and look after the well-being of its most vulnerable citizens.
We will talk to 3 voters who were undecided up until yesterday. We talked pipelines, the economy, and what they're hoping Alberta looks like come Wednesday morning. That's tomorrow night on The National.
And coming up next on The National, a surrogate story. Why prospective parents are looking very keenly to Canada.
I love being a mom, and why wouldn't I want to help somebody else do that too?
Yay! Oh no! To greatness for a gifted athlete who changed his sport forever. Tiger Woods is a champion once again.
But here it is.
And with that, from a 2-shot deficit, Tiger roared back to victory at Augusta National, a Masters champion for the first time in 14 years. It's been a long road. As one of the most naturally gifted golfers in history, Tiger Woods was for years a rock star, a solid gold investment to his sponsors, and a living symbol to people of color that any barrier can be broken, until it all came crashing down a decade ago. His image was shattered by a sex scandal. His sponsors dumped him, and serious back problems almost killed his career. But He battled back, slowly, surely, and today, a return to glory.
Yeah, buddy. Congratulations, Tiger.
Good for him, and maybe even better for the game.
Golf has seen a bit of a decline, and you can contribute it to maybe the decline in Tiger. Now that he's back, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in the industry that are hoping that it will have a rebound effect and that it will bring a renewed interest and enthusiasm to the sport.
Woods, who lost his beloved father Earl back in 2006, savored today's win with his children and his mother.
Just to have them there, and then now to have them see their pops win, just like my pops saw me win here. It's pretty special.
Today marks Woods' 5th Masters win and his 15th major, leaving him just 3 back from his idol, the retired legend Jack Nicklaus, who offered his congratulations today.
The punches were thrown in Czechoslovakia, but their impact was felt halfway around the world in Canada.
What's your reaction to yesterday's international hockey fisticuffs fiasco?
Today, the junior hockey Donnybrook was the talk of the open line shows, from hockey coaches.
But we must remember that in hockey, fighting is part of the game, and it has been for a long time.
To the mothers of young players.
But I am observing us losing a great deal of talent, beautiful young men, like I say, at 12 or 15, just refusing to play hockey anymore.
CBC sportscaster Bruce Dobigan has seldom seen such an outpouring of emotion.
I thought that all of a sudden I realized what a deep sort of strain this hits in Canadian people, that hockey touches people like nothing else. I think it's the one thing that we really associate with our national pride.
The hockey fight of the month. Joe Cirillo of the Devils in the light, Bobby Basson of the Islanders in the dark.
Violence is nothing new to pro hockey. The American networks even assemble special packages of the NHL's lowlights. Junior hockey is supposed to be different, and generally it has been. In 1982 and in 1985, Canadian juniors won the World Championship. They had little trouble with the strict international rules against fighting. In fact, the Canadians even won the Fair Play Medal a couple of years ago. As for yesterday, Al Eagleson, Canada's top diplomat on international hockey, thinks the Canadian players had no choice.
It's a sad answer to a problem created by a lack of self-discipline, which is totally understandable. I think if my son had been there, he would have jumped the boards to help his friends.
If there's one word that keeps coming up, it's discipline. You have to teach discipline to kids, whether they're 14 or whether they're 24, playing internationally. They have to be disciplined. They have to understand that these are the rules of the games over here. You're not playing by your own rules anymore.
As the lights went out in Czechoslovakia yesterday, a new debate about Canada's game was just beginning.
They turned the lights off in the arena, but that isn't going to solve anything.
We spoke to 2 of the Canadian players just after their arrival at Toronto Airport, goalie Sean Simpson and defenseman Kerry Huffman.
Sean, where were you in all the kerfuffle?
I was on the bench at the time. Jim Waite started the game, and I don't know, I was just watching the game and it all came, and I just came off the bench.
What do you mean, I just came off the bench? I mean, what goes on in a guy's head? What do you see? What boils out, and why do you move? Because you were programmed to not move out there, right?
I don't know, just we're on the bench and we see 5-on-5 guys fighting on the ice, and we see the other team leave their bench, and it's just a natural reaction that we go out and help the guys in our team and stick up for the guys in our team, and I don't know, you don't even really think twice of it, it's just something you do.
How many were you each taking on, Kerry? I mean, where were you? Did you get hurt?
No, I didn't really get hurt. There was one time when I had a hold of 2 of them, and then but then your players came on and helped you out. So that was good. There's always somebody there to help you out.
This is CBC News.
What makes it news to you?
One small step for man.
Is it something that tugs at your heart?
The Constitution is now home.
Or opens your eyes?
The Berlin Wall is coming down.
If the story matters to you, your community,
Fires burning across the province,
or the entire world,
we're gonna build a wall.
you can always turn to us. CBC News, right where you are.
Hi there. Some stories we'll be watching this week on The National. Yes, pot is legal now, but an annual cannabis protest in Vancouver is still on for Saturday. Organizers say laws are still too restrictive, but critics say that 420 gathering stopped being a protest a long time ago, and organizers should pay for things like policing, something protesters don't typically have to do. Speaking of rallies, beginning tomorrow and for as many as 3 days, climate change protesters in Europe are planning to block the streets of central London. They're calling on government to reduce carbon emissions to zero by 2025. And the royal countdown is underway. Harry and Meghan's baby is due any day now, but there's quite the bubble of privacy around them. Don't expect much in the ways of public appearances when it happens, and it may even be a few days after the birth there's any news, possibly coming on the couple's new Instagram account. Now here's another British baby whose birth attracted global attention. 41 years ago, Louise Brown became the first living person conceived outside of a woman's body. Since then, millions of families have used in vitro fertilization as a way of realizing their dream to have children. The technology has come a long way, and so have the rules around how it's done. Tonight, we want to tell you the story of a gay British couple whose quest for children brought them to Ontario. They found an ideal surrogate mother, and as you'll hear, also a legal framework that suited their situation. Kayla Hounsell has our dispatch from Red Hill, England.
At the Bernie Edwards household, things can get a bit chaotic. With 2 kids under 2,
bye-bye.
Someone is always on the move, and with that comes the cheers
Cheersless. Oh!
And the tears. But Graham and Simon Bernie Edwards wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, bye-bye.
You see, there was a time when they thought they could never have any of this.
You just sort of step back and go, wow.
It can be very surreal.
This is it. They're here.
Daddy. As gay men, they thought they'd never be biological fathers. Then an IVF clinic in Vegas told them they could have twins and each be a father of 1 child.
I mean, what did you think when you were told that the first time?
Wow.
Yeah.
Very busy, Calder.
So while Alexandra and Calder may seem like typical toddlers, they're anything but. They're twins, but only half siblings. Born just minutes apart, they have the same biological mother, but different fathers.
So they harvested the eggs from the egg donor. They fertilized half of those eggs with my sperm, half with Graham's sperm.
The embryos were implanted in the same surrogate at the same time. The Bernie Edwards say they chose to have their children in Canada because they were drawn to the legal framework. They say English law is dated, primarily because it considers the surrogate, and if she has one, her husband, to be the legal parents for the first 6 weeks of the child's life.
In that time, if the surrogate decides to change their mind, you have no recourse. Basically, that's it. Your child is gone, and that is it.
So in the UK, our laws are somewhat archaic.
This fertility and surrogacy lawyer says Canada is a favourite for Brits seeking surrogacy.
I think it gives an element of certainty. It gives the transparency, which we can't offer always, and it gives a very clear structure.
Spearman says while UK surrogates and intended parents do draw up contracts outlining their agreement, the contracts aren't legally binding. Neither country allows for payment to surrogates other than to cover expenses. It's another reason the Bernie Edwards chose Canada and Meg Stone.
Oh, Mom, you should have done that. 1, 2, 3.
Stone and her children live in Hamilton, Ontario. She says she was also drawn to the Bernie Edwards profile.
They mentioned that they wanted twins, and I'm always up for a challenge. And they also said they wanted lifelong friendship, which was also something I wanted.
After an agonizing wait, they found out it had worked. Stone was pregnant with twins.
Yeah, I think we sat there for probably a couple of hours, sort of going through elation to crying to thinking, what have we done?
It's pretty much a yay! Oh, no.
After a couple of false alarms that saw the dads dashing off to Canada early, Alexandra and Calder arrived in Canada. Meg continues to watch the twins, now 21 months old, grow from afar, swapping messages and photos. Happy birthday. Even making the trip to the UK for the twins' first birthday.
Birthday to you.
Hey, guys.
Wow. Don't you look well?
Stone doesn't seem to think what she did is very extraordinary, even though she's doing it again for another couple, currently pregnant with twins.
I love being a mom, and why wouldn't I want to help somebody else do that too? So, bye.
She maintains she wouldn't want to be paid for helping others have children, but there is a debate in Canada about whether paying surrogates should be decriminalized. Simon and Graham say when it comes to surrogacy law, Canada has it right. But that doesn't mean it was easy or cheap. They still spent tens of thousands of dollars on Stone's expenses, agency and legal fees, not to mention the travel back and forth.
Every single penny, cent was worth it.
Yeah. I love Ontario because there are lots of interesting things to see.
Although none of their biological parents are Canadian, Alexandra and Calder are Canadian citizens. Their parents say it's an important part of their heritage.
They can't have a relationship with their biological mother, the egg donor. It's an anonymous donor, and so that's why it's really important to us that they do know where they've come from. What's this one?
Goodbye. Explaining it all to the children has already begun.
Sleep. I'll blow a kiss goodnight to make sure all of Canada will have sweet dreams tonight.
Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Red Hill, England.
So Canada is reviewing the law that governs assisted reproduction. As you heard in the story, right now it is illegal to pay someone to carry a child for you, but also, as you heard, you can reimburse them for pregnancy-related expenses. The government is working to clarify which expenses are allowed. The call for public input closed in January. Okay, we do have another round of golf coming up on the National. The Masters didn't just produce a huge win for Tiger Woods, it also produced our moment.
And then up steps Justin Thomas. 8-iron.
What are the actual economic benefits for Quebec of the Immigrant Investor Program? We went to visit La Maison Orphée, a manufacturer of oil and condiments in Quebec City. The growing company is purchasing new equipment. Grants from the Immigrant Investor Program are funding 5% of the modernization project.
C'est toujours un peu la cerise sur le sundae, finalement, qui permet d'avoir un petit peu plus de liquidité. Quand on est dans une petite entreprise, qu'on est en croissance, bien, les liquidités, c'est toujours ça qui manque. Fait que c'est un bon moyen là, d'avoir un petit coussin.
Notre entreprise est située à Québec. On est dans le domaine de la transformation alimentaire. Nous, on a eu la chance...
La Maison Orphée is the example chosen by financial intermediaries to highlight the success of the Immigrant Investor Program before a parliamentary committee in 2011.
Donc, pour nous, vraiment, là, ce type d'aide financière-là est plus que bienvenu et devrait être plus connu.
At the same table, one of Quebec's most renowned economists, Pierre Fortin, he also praises the program.
Ça donne un résultat assez incroyable. Que près des 2/3 de tous les immigrants investisseurs qui entrent au Canada sont accueillis par le Québec.
In a series of studies, Pierre Fortin writes that it is immigration that pays off with spectacular rate of return for Quebec that allows to create jobs at low cost. In short, it's a godsend. Here's how it works. The immigrant investor makes an interest-free loan of $1.2 million to the Quebec government, which is entirely refunded to him after 5 years. In the meantime, Quebec places those funds so they grow at market rates. The interest generated is redistributed in part to small and medium-sized Quebec businesses through Investissement Québec, the province's investment arm. Since the year 2000, these businesses have received $695 million. But the program is also a gold mine for financial intermediaries who submit immigrant investor files. During the same period, the government paid them $605 million in professional fees, almost as much as what was given in grants.
Moi, je voudrais d'abord dire une chose au sujet des intermédiaires financiers.
Financial intermediaries, including National Bank and Desjardins, funded Pierre Fortin's studies of immigrant investors. Mr. Fortin has declined our request for an interview because he says that he has not worked on this subject for years. He referred us to the study's co-author, economist Pierre-Emmanuel Paradis.
Au dernier rapport annuel d'Investissement Québec, on parle de 4000 emplois au total qui sont liés directement à ces contributions-là.
But when we took a closer look at the data, we noticed something surprising. Investissement Québec doesn't finance more than 10% of a project, but the figures published in its annual reports count 100% of the jobs as if they were created or saved by these projects. The impact on job creation appears 10 times higher than it actually is. Investissement Québec tells us this is its standard operating procedure, but that it does not count all these jobs as attributable to its involvement. This is not what economist Pierre-Emmanuel Paradis was led to believe.
Créé ou sauvegardé ici, c'est attribué à l'ensemble de la valeur du projet. If they're calculating it this way by accounting for all the jobs, of course, it inflates the job creation numbers.
By 10 times.
It's not the right way to do it.
It's back to a 2-goal game.
Gritty goal here by Alex Steen to jam this one home. And here's a turnover again. We've seen this a couple of times where Hellebuyck plays the puck. One was almost stolen by Maroon. This one gets by the defender up the middle, and it's turned back into a chance, and they just crash the net. Jam away, it's Pietrangelo. Make sure that that shot gets through. Good job by him off the net to Steen, first redirection. And then Steen just wraps it through, goes off the butt end, or the heel of the blade of Hellebuyck, and finds its way into the net. That's a gritty goal by that line. The fourth line of St. Louis has been physical tonight, and they bring them within 2.
A line that Steen was asked by his head coach to drop down to, a veteran who's not used to that. But he's played a large role in the success of that young trio, and they made it a 2-goal game.
Well, Steen's always been an ultra-competitor, and that's the one thing he brings to any line that he plays on. He's going to chat on the bench, and he's great for those young guys, Sanford and Barbashev. Barbashev has been a physical force in this one tonight, and done an excellent job in that regard as I duck out of the way of that puck that came through.
So Alexander Steen was the most playoff experience on this roster. Makes it interesting.
With available safety features like a surround view monitor.
Remember the breathing.
Blind spot collision avoidance assist. And rear occupant alert. The all-new Santa Fe doesn't just keep you safe. It helps keep everyone safe.
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue on CBC.
Game 2 in Calgary.
The Avalanche struck with ferocity and firepower.
Short-handed, scores!
The Flames rose in response. But Colorado had the final say.
In overtime, and the Avalanche tie the series at 1.
Now the scene shifts to Denver as the action intensifies. Can Calgary stand tall in the mile-high city? Flames Avs Game 3 tomorrow on CBC.
Fix Auto, the first word that should come to mind after an accident.
Look at these fans watching hockey from home. They can get closer, you know, with great NHL prizes. Wow! Blaze with the assist. Like tickets to any game instantly. Score! Smile with Blaze for a chance to win tons of hockey prizes.
Get breaking news alerts and customize your feed and follow news that's important to you. Download the CBC News app for iOS and Android now.
The St. Louis Blues team hasn't gone away in any game so far in the series. They're not going away.
Been held hostage. The Red Cross is revealing her identity for the first time in a bid to